Hey whiskey lovers, we're here at Honeybee's in New York City with Sother Teague to talk about how to choose the right whiskey for a cocktail. Sother, you made us 2 cocktails, a Manhattan, Old Fashioned, Good Whiskey Classics. How did you decide which whiskey to use? You used bourbon for the Old Fashioned and rye for the Manhattan.
In these 2 specific drinks, the choice to make the Old Fashioned with bourbon is because bourbon is typically a little bit softer in flavor profile, a little bit more approachable, orange and vanilla. When all you're going to have is just a little bit of bitters and sugar to tame that whiskey, I think that's the way to go for an Old Fashioned. In a Manhattan, on the other hand, you need something a little bit more spicy, a little bit more assertive. The Michter's rye comes through with its notes of cinnamon and orange, stands out a little bit more when kind of, mixing it down with something like vermouth, which is fortified wine.
And now what about the proof of the whiskey? I know part of cocktail making is that you're not only chilling the drink, you're diluting it when you stir it with ice, and proof obviously will come down the more water you add. So how do you factor that into deciding what whiskey to use?
In a cocktail like an Old Fashioned, which gets built in the glass, it doesn't get a lot of dilution prior to being handed to the guest. I want something that's lower proof, right? Because I don't want it to burn their face. 100 proof in an Old Fashioned, which again is just whiskey, a little bit of sugar and bitters, is too aggressive. On the other hand, I need a higher proof when some mixers are involved, or maybe even just a lot of ice. Comes to mind the julep. It's going to go over pebble ice. It needs to be a higher proof because it's going to get instantly diluted, right? And if I start with a lower proof whiskey in a drink like that, I'm just going to come out with something watery and sort of insipid, right? So lower proof when there's less mixer, higher proof when there's more mixer.
For me, one of the questions I get a lot, and it's also something that I think about a lot, is the price of the whiskey. I personally don't want to put a whiskey in a cocktail that I wouldn't drink neat, but my taste can sometimes be a little expensive. How do you factor that into choosing the whiskey as well?
There's so many things to consider, and I think first of all, of course, is just your own personal taste. Cost is up to you, right? Whatever it is you want to spend is what you should spend. My recommendation is go to your favorite whiskey bar, have them line you up a bunch of shots of things that they're already making you cocktails with. They know you. Taste them across the board, talk to them, and decide what's going to work for you, both budget-wise and taste-wise. But I think the first thing to think about is the flavor, and the second thing to think about is the price.
All right, well, so you're telling me I need to come into the bar, ask for several whiskeys, and drink them?
Indeed.
I think I can do that.
Yeah.
Thank you for making these cocktails.
Oh man, happy to do it.
Educating us a little bit about choosing whiskey.
Cheers.
Cheers.